Welcome, students, faculty, staff, family, friends, and guests. Is there anything better than a rousing round of the victors to start a celebration, the best fight song in America? It's been a long and arduous year. And sadly, just as it seems that we are emerging, we are grappling with two mass shootings in the United States that tear at the very fabric of our shared humanity. Our hearts and sympathies go out to the families who lost loved ones this week and last week. But today, we'd like to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of our honors scholars. Even among leaders and best, these are individuals that stand out. I loved looking at the photos of all of our recipients with their certificates at their homes, with their families and their pets. Some even have them already framed and hung on the walls. Just as this past weekend, we celebrated the Vernal Equinox, or otherwise known as the start of spring, where daylight starts to be longer than nighttime. These individuals are bringing light to the end of a long tunnel that we know as this pandemic. We are very proud of your accomplishments and proud that you are part of our U of M-Dearborn family. Now, I'd like to turn it over to our distinguished provost, properly regaled in her outfit that is academic, and she will take it from here. Provost Susan Alcock.
Thank you, Chancellor Grasso, for that introduction and for your kickoff to this 39th Annual Honors Scholars Ceremony for the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters and the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. And from me as well, a welcome to everyone with us tonight. First and foremost, of course, the honors scholars themselves. You saw their names, saw their faces, and read their thoughts while we waited for the ceremony to begin. And it was truly something to make your heart sing. But I also want to welcome again the families, their friends, and indeed many of their faculty members and staff who supported them in their efforts. You know, ceremonies are most memorable, they're most fun when they bring together, even virtually bringing together, many people who've seen through a mighty enterprise to a successful conclusion, particularly when the way has been hard and the challenges many. So everyone on this Zoom deserves great recognition and thanks from the bottom of each other's hearts. Now, to the faculty who taught these remarkable students, it was a year without precedent, but you never gave up. So please give yourselves a round of applause out there, and others do join in, and I will just have to trust that you're all doing it. To the friends and the families, I am convinced that you said the right thing at the right time, and no doubt probably many times, to your own particular honor scholar when things were looking tough or even impossible. You know, family and friends are what got all of us through this year and a bit, as we saw in many of the comments. You deserve all manner of cheers, thumbs up, and clapping hand signals as well, which I'm, again, really sorry not to be able to see, because embarrassing family behavior at moments like these is always one of the joys of these ceremonies. And finally, of course, to you, the honor scholars yourselves, just to underscore this, to achieve the status of honors at the University of Michigan-Dearborn is never easy. It sets a high bar. It expects a great deal. It's something of which to be extremely proud now and going forward forever in your career as a Michigan alumnus. But to do it in a year of disruption and change, and with the courage and the grace you've all shown, well, I would say that's honors with a plus sign, honors with an exclamation mark. You deserve all the credit and all the praise in the world. But I keep talking about showing and sharing praise and thanks. Before we move on, please be aware that anyone on this call can use the Q&A function down at the bottom, the Q&A function, to congratulate the students or indeed anyone else on the Zoom. And now, on with the show. It's a very great privilege to introduce Martin J. Hershock, Dean of the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters, to speak to the members of his college. Dean Hershock.
Thank you, Provost Elcock, and welcome everybody. Good evening, students, faculty, staff, and guests. And let me be among the first to congratulate you on the honors that you are about to receive this evening. As Dean of the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters, as a member of the university faculty, and as a proud alumnus of this university and of the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters, where I did not get honors, it is no exaggeration when I say that I am triply proud of all of you. You truly exemplify the very best of who we are. You rock. This event is always one of the highlights of the academic year for me. I love to see the pride on the faces of our students and their guests, the faculty who attend the event, and those of us who are tasked with overseeing this great university. Even more though, I love to hear the individual stories of our students. I always leave this event feeling exuberant and inspired, not expired. Don't want to feel that way. I feel inspired. I'm really sorry that we won't have the opportunity to interact in that personal way this evening, but I'm very glad that we are able to gather collectively to celebrate each of you and all of your many accomplishments. I'm keenly aware of the fact that I will be hearing more about all of you and about the wonderful things that you will achieve in the future. I know that all of you are destined to do great things. Though I was asked to say a few things about the college, given my audience, it seemed moot to me, as you are all very aware of what a special place the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters is, and how much CASL contributes to the life and vitality of both the university and to our broader community. More to the point, tonight isn't about the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters per se, it's about all of you. And so, without further ado, I'd like to once again offer my hearty congratulations to all of you and to move the program along to the main event, the reason why you are all here, the recognition of our honors awardees. And to help us to do this, I'd like to introduce my colleague and very dear friend, Professor of French, Dr. Gabriella Scarlatta. Gabriella.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this fabulous ceremony. My name is Gabriella Scarlatta. I'm one of the Associate Deans in the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters, and it is my pleasure and honor to read your names at today's ceremony. We will begin with the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters with the graduate programs. Nicholas Krupansky, Applied and Computational Mathematics. Joyce Korekabaski, Psychology. Aaron Lapierre, Public Administration and Policy. Tracy Marish, Criminology and Criminal Justice. James Nolker, Environmental Science. We now move to the undergraduate program and undergraduate students in the College of Arts, Sciences, and Letters. With some and mostly behavioral and biological sciences. Daniel Urini, Environmental Studies. Mariam Batsi, English. Kristen M. Bowen, Environmental Science. Mark Boynowski, Journalism and Screen Studies. Alexandra Brokagan, Criminology and Criminal Justice. James Curzon, Mathematics. Mallory Clayton, Anthropology. Larissa Dean, Biochemistry. Owen Fleming, Economics. Chelsea Hampton, Urban and Regional Studies. Joseph Hughes, Philosophy, and Joseph Hughes, Political Science. Brianna Kemmerling, Art History. Jessica Ledbetter, History. Zachary Lewinsky, Actuarial Mathematics. Zena Mistari, Behavioral Sciences. Erica Parmenter, Microbiology. Nathaniel Pierce, Physics. Emily Pistrak, Applied Statistics. Erin Richard, Women's and Gender Studies. Miriam Risk, Biological Sciences. Fatuma Sahad, Public Communication and Cultural Studies. Aaron Smith, Chemistry. Zenon Summers, Psychology. Stacy South, Sociology. Jessica Stelicki, Hispanic Studies. Madeline Basbinder, French Studies. And Yahira Viga, International Studies. We will now hear from our
Yeah, I can take that for you, Dr. Scarlata. Yeah, it is now my very great pleasure to introduce someone who's here with us tonight to share some of her experiences of this past remarkable year. Zena Waheb is a junior at UM-Dearborn. She's majoring in psychology and minoring in philosophy. She's the news editor of the Michigan Journal. She's a supplemental instruction leader and a research assistant here on campus, a busy person. Zena's here is joining us to share selections from an essay she wrote for a great undertaking that the Mardigian Library has been doing, a sort of an ongoing COVID archive, which has been collecting and documenting student, staff, and faculty emotions and responses brought in by the pandemic. Please welcome Zena Waheb to share with us from Dear Future Me.
Now, before I begin, I would like to congratulate all the recipients. I'm glad you're being recognized for your hard work and dedication. Today, I want to share with you a letter I wrote in July of last year. At the time, I was becoming more and more overwhelmed. Time itself seemed to have fallen into disarray, and I feared there was no end to what the year 2020 has caused. So I decided to write a letter to a future where 2020 has ended, and we were okay, because I could only rely on the hope that this will all pass and everything will eventually be okay. The letter begins with, Dear Future Me. Today is July 15, 2020. It is 10:01 p.m. and I'm sitting by an open window. The refreshing night breeze keeps sweeping the papers off my desk, though I don't really mind. I know you will be reading this in the future, where time has already perished me and replaced me with you. A me, but with new experiences, perspectives, and goals, for better or for worse. Nevertheless, I want to write to you about this version of me, my current experiences and my hopes. This pandemic is quickly tiring all of us. There are moments where I see people pause in their work as the realization settles in again, crashing like a wave. This is our new normal. The quarantine life brings many bouts of emptiness, loneliness, anxiety, and unfortunately, self-reflection. I've come to realize the self-indulgence of the BC before COVID era and how much we have taken simple things for granted. I've actually made a list of what I want to do after all this is over, like go to the movies and spend all my money on overpriced snacks, or sit in a restaurant, or study abroad. Though I don't really know how all this can be over. I guess it lies with the vaccine. I do hope you have managed to check that off in your time. Besides the self-reflection, these days my anxiety has reached new heights. I never really had a problem with anxiety before, but I've become more aware of its bruising, nagging. But to be honest with you, my anxiety isn't for me. Though there are some people living their lives mostly unchanged, I have a big family. And if my mother were to catch the virus from me or from anywhere else, guilt will pull me down to the darkest place. We're both aware she wouldn't be able to handle it. Therefore, and I know this is useless, I hope my mother and the rest of my family are safe in the time you're living in. These days I've also been staying away from the news, which have only induced a great sense of sadness and helplessness in me. It's daunting in a way how much importance the phrase ignorance is bliss has taken in my life. I just hope your world is more comprehensible and slightly more peaceful. Finally, I want to conclude this letter by reminding you of a few things in case it continues to not be over in your time. You should try to find joy in the smallest things that happen. Big joys are proving to be rare and frankly not worth the wait. I'm starting to believe the best way to maintain happiness is to be content with the small joys of life and embrace them to the brim. Lastly, I hope that you have found a way to surpass the barriers your anxiety keeps building up. I'm keeping it my motto for now that all things shall pass. In the past, this was somewhat depressing to me, since it means nothing good will last. In bad times, it is the only comfort. I hope you're looking back at this as some mere bad moments that were, and not life itself. Sincerely, your younger self, Zena Waheb. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Zena, not least for proof positive that things of beauty and meaning and heartfeltness and things that need to be said can come from times of pain and anxiety. Your future you gives us all great hope. So thank you again for sharing. Now it's my privilege indeed to introduce the Dean of the second college up tonight, Ann Lamkin-Williams, Dean of the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. I call on Ann to speak to the members of her college.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure and a privilege to be here with you this evening and to also serve as Dean for the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. I would like to take the moment to acknowledge our teachers, to acknowledge the teachers we have prepared through our program and the teachers who are going through our teacher education program, to thank them for being a part of educating our students and to continue through the pandemic to complete their field experiences in person and remotely. Thank you for what you're doing for our children and their families. Second, I want to take a moment to acknowledge our Health and Human Services students and alum who are serving on the front line. The work that they do every day is so important to all that we do for this region. And without them, there's so much we would not accomplish. So I want to take a moment again to acknowledge our teachers who are alum, our teachers who are serving our region, our future teachers who are completing their field experiences in person and remotely, and also our Health and Human Service alum and current students who are on the front line helping to move us through the pandemic. I thank you for this opportunity to share this evening with you. As the Provost has mentioned, the Chancellor and my colleague, Dean Hershock, there are so many pieces to this puzzle, but we know that today is one of the many days that we get to take a moment and think about all of the pieces that matter to us and allow us to enjoy our experience and to be a part of watching our students achieve their goals. We know there are many great days more to come, but today is just one of those days we get to take an opportunity to celebrate our students, to celebrate a huge accomplishment, and look forward to many more to come. I'm going to take this opportunity now to turn it back over to my colleague, and Gabriella Sincata, Professor of French, is going to read the names of our College of Education, Health, and Human Services students. Gabriella?
Thank you, Dean Lamkin Williams. It is my pleasure now to read the names of the College of Education, Health, and Human Services graduate programs. Patrick Borg, Education Specialist, EDS. John Kernan, Education, EDS. Laura Bandit, Teaching. Leah Goodwin, Science Education. Emily Habert, Education Technology. Gretchen Handy, Health Information Technology. Cameron Hunt, Educational Leadership. Alexis Jackson, Applied Behavioral Analysis. Jennifer Johnson, Early Childhood Education. Colleen Kalishki, Special Education. Paige Scully, Education. Catherine Threat Morgan, Community-Based Education. And now we're going to go to the undergraduate programs in the College of Education, Health, and Human Services. Reem Al-Dubashi, Special Education, Learning Disabilities. Safa Al-Gaiti, Public Health. Chantal Asaf, Language Arts. Chelsea Cook, Children and Families. Jules Fisher, Health and Human Services. Felicia Howell, Mathematics Studies. Mackenzie Nelson, Social Studies. Tiffany Panic, Studies in Children and Families. Alexis Papazaglu, Instructional Technology. Kayla Phillips, Science Studies. Carolyn Reniker, Reading. Isra Risk, Health Policy Studies. Noor Termos, Early Childhood.
Well, thank you, Professor Scarlatta, for reading all the scholars' names so beautifully. I also want to extend some thanks, special thanks to Karen Davis, Sherry Marshall, and Lori Such for their assistance with tonight's event, and a very large shout out to Sakun and Eddie of the fabulous student tech tutors of Experience Plus for their technical help. It's hard to know what to say at this point beyond, you can never say congratulations enough. You can never say thank yous enough, but I will say congratulations again to our honor scholars, and thank you to all who sail with them and in them. May this have been a happy event for you all. I don't see how it couldn't be. What an interesting range of futures I see ahead of these remarkable students. Be well, everybody. Take very good care. Have a wonderful night, and please continue to celebrate.